Hey everybody, welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm Coach Brian, and today we're going to go over an article that appeared in um, active.com, published on January 8th, and it's Decoding the Triathlon Lexicon, a comprehensive guide to top essential terms. And this is, if you've been in the sport for a while, we all have a way of talking. In marathons, we have a way of talking. Triathlons, we have a way of talking. Every sport has its own jargon, and triathlon's no different. We all have our little things we say. And what we're going to do today is cover some of these that we use, and a lot of times it's used. A lot of the same terms are used in multiple sports. But let's get started. Triathlon is a demanding and exhilarating multi-sport event that combines swimming, cycling, and running. Whether you're a seasoned triathlete or just tipping your toes into this challenging world, understanding the specialized vocabulary of triathlon is essential for successful training and competition. In this comprehensive guide, we will unravel the complex language of triathlon by presenting 24 essential triathlon terms with their precise definitions. By the end of this article, you will be well prepared to navigate the world of triathlon with confidence, knowledge, and enthusiasm. This isn't going to overall build you up that much. It's going to help you a little bit, and I hope that it does have a good positive effect on you, and it helps you understand this. But it's not that comprehensive. It's only 24 terms. There's a whole lot more. And I'll probably go into a few more as we go on. So, to start out, triathlon terms and definitions. Transition, T1 and T2. Transition refers to an area in triathlon where athletes switch between disciplines. T1 is the transition from swim to bike, and T2 is the transition from bike to run. This is if it's a regular triathlon. If it's a reverse triathlon, it's not necessarily so. Drafting. Drafting in a triathlon occurs when a cyclist follows closely behind another competitor to reduce wind resistance. Drafting is allowed in some races, but prohibited in others. Yes, there are draft legal and draft not legal races. Wetsuit legal. Wetsuit legal refers to races where competitors are allowed to wear wetsuits for the swim portion. The decision is based on water temperature and safety concerns. And there is also wetsuit prohibited, and it's the same thing, temperature and safety concerns. Brick workout. A brick workout involves training two disciplines back to back, typically a bike ride immediately followed by a run. It helps triathletes adapt to the transition between biking and running. We also do a lot of brick workouts between swim and bike, and it's definitely different getting on your bike after an aggressive swim, but we do all these too. But the most typical is bike to run. Sighting. Sighting is the technique of lifting your head out of the water during an open water swim to ensure you're swimming in the right direction and avoid obstacles, or as I call them, obstacles. Sighting is extremely important because your ability to navigate where you're going and avoiding other swimmers oftentimes, and trying to get around the buoys and get the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So sighting is essential, and on the Facebook YouTube group, YouTube channel here, there is a very good video I have on sighting. Aero bars. Aero bars are handlebar extensions on a triathlon bike that allows athletes to assume. Aero bars are a handlebar extension on a triathlon bike that allow athletes to assume a more aerodynamic position. And it's true. I've got a bike behind me with aero bars. Let's see if I can get that over there for you. And there they are. Now get this back up and aimed right. Okay, so those are your aero bars. Trisuit. a tri-suit not to be mixed up with a wetsuit. A tri-suit is a one-piece or two-piece garment designed for triathletes, providing comfort and convenience during all three disciplines. It's also designed to have a less absorbent chamois or non-absorbent chamois in the shorts, a thinner one as well, and to dry a lot faster than your average cycling gear. Chip timing. Chip timing uses an electronic chip attached to the athlete's ankle or bibs to record their exact race times, ensuring accuracy in large events, timing accuracy. So your Garmin, you don't have to rely on that. You're going to have an official time, and although use this, but rely on their time. If for some reason you lose your timing chip, you can always download your Garmin timing. It's not going to, you'll probably be a couple seconds off, and unless you're really tight with somebody else, it's not going to make much of a difference. Transition bag. A transition bag is a bag used to organize and transport gear for both T1 and T2. It helps athletes quickly access what they need during transition. Only put in your bag what is absolutely necessary, and only lay out in your transition area what you actually need in the aspects of transitioning. Leave the rest in your bag, like your sunscreen, your chapstick, your body glide. Leave all that in the bag. Put your shoes, all the stuff you're going to need to transition out there where you're going to easily transition. Okay, taper. Tapering is a process of reducing training volume and intensity in the weeks leading up to a race to ensure athletes are rested and in peak condition on race day. And tapering is really essential when you're talking something like Olympic distance or above. That means your longer races. For a sprint, your taper will last 2-3 days. And what you really want to do is wipe out all that latent fatigue that's built up in your muscles. Okay, triathlon bike. That's the bike behind me that you can't see because I'm zoomed in too much. A triathlon bike or tri-bike is a specialized bicycle designed for triathlons featuring aerodynamic components and geometry. Now, my road bike that is right there hanging up is actually a triathlon bike that I've converted to a road bike because the aero bars got damaged in a crash. And then when I got hit by the car, they replaced the bike for me, and that's why I've got the bike that's behind me. And then I've got the bike there. The frame never hit the ground. I protected the bike with my body, and my body took the brunt of it with a lot of road rash. Okay, the chute is the designated area where athletes exit the swim and enter the transition area during the race. The chute is also the area where you're coming into the finish line, where you've got the rails on both sides, the fencing on both sides, where you're coming through the chute and going to the finish line. 2 chutes. So, real easy, not hard. Aid station. Aid stations are stations along the run course of a triathlon where athletes can grab water, energy gels, or other supplies. Also possibly medical aid if it's a longer race. Age group. In a triathlon, participants are often grouped by age for competition, allowing for athletes to compete against others in their age category. There are a few other categories such as Athena, Clydesdale, and military, and in some races, elite. Those are the pros. DNF, and we all probably know what that is if we've been in any other kind of a race. Did not finish. A DNF is an abbreviation used to indicate that the athlete did not complete the race. Enough said. I've never got a DNF. I did get a DNS. Did not start. Clipless pedals. This is the biggest misnomer in triathlon or in cycling at all. Clipless pedals are pedals that attach to special cycling shoes, provided a secure connection between the foot and the pedal. That is an actual constant connection, and you have to unclip to get out of them. Bonk. Bonk refers to a sudden and severe depletion of energy and glycogen during a race, resulting in fatigue and impaired performance. And those of you who remember way back on the Wide World of Sports when Julie Moss and Kathleen McCartney raced to the end, and I think it was Julie Moss was crawling. She was in glycogen depletion. She got up a couple times, tried to run, was so wobbly, she actually crawled across the finish line, and Kathleen McCartney passed her just feet from the finish line. It was one of the most amazing ends to any race I've ever seen. Okay, triathlon coach. That's me. A triathlon coach is a trained professional who helps athletes develop training plans, improve performance, and reach their triathlon goals. And if you've never used a coach, please find one. They can help you navigate through things. A lot of us coaches do an awful lot for free. I host several workouts and several clinics. I don't charge anything for that. When I start charging, it would be for underwater video assessments or training plans, things like that that require a lot of individualized attention, take up a lot of time to develop, and not just underwater assessments. I'll do cycling assessments where I'll video you while you're cycling. I will do running assessments where you'll be videoed while you're running, or videoed on a treadmill where we can get a good assessment of your footfalls and your body position and your posture when running to get the maximum efficiency out of your body so you're not causing other mechanical problems when you're running. So those are what a triathlon coach is for. It's a big, big help to especially the beginner athlete. And I work with a lot of athletes, getting them ready for their first triathlon. I was working with one yesterday. I've got one that second time at one of my workouts yesterday, and she's really getting geared up for this weekend's race. Aquabike. Aquabike is a multi-sport race that combines swimming and cycling but excludes the running portion, making it suitable for athletes with injuries or limitations. Now, I did aquabike for the past three and a half years because I had a torn Achilles, a very badly torn one, which required a surgical repair. And the repair went very well. I was able to run. Then I immediately had shoulder surgery. And so that put me back another year. So I'm doing my first triathlon in 4 years this weekend. Also, there is a duathlon, which is run, bike, run. There's swim, run, which is swimming and running for those of people that have anxiety on the bike. So there's a lot of different things that you can do in the multi-sport realm. Race director. The race director is responsible for organizing and overseeing the logistics of a triathlon event, ensuring it runs smoothly and safely. Yes, they're the one that put this thing together, and they're the glue that holds this race together and makes sure all the moving parts fit. It's a lot of work, and they bust their butt. I'm good friends with race directors, especially when I'm officiating. They're your mind and body for this race because they allow you to do your job and safely coordinate a race. I am Ironman. Now, Ironman is a triathlon. Make no distinction. It's just a long one. Ironman is a brand of long-distance triathlon races known for their challenging 2.4-mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, and 26.2-mile run. That's full Ironman. Ironman 70.3 or a half distance is 1.2-mile swim, a 62-mile bike ride, I think that's what it was, and a 13.1 half marathon at the end for a total of 70.3 miles. Those are Ironman branded races. That's a trademark. So when you come across a half distance that shows those, it just means it's the same distance, but it's not an Ironman event. And when you read the rules with World Triathlon or USA Triathlon, you'll see that they're categorized as standard distance and long distance. Ironman distance races are considered long distance races. They have a few different rules to them. Primarily, the drafting rules are much different. The drafting in an Ironman is 2 meters longer. It's 12 meters versus 10 meters for a standard distance. I mean, it goes without saying. It makes it a little more difficult. You have to remember all the rules when you're officiating. Conclusion. Triathlon is more than just a race. It's a multi-sport adventure. Oh, that it is. Demands a combination of physical prowess, mental fortitude, and technical knowledge. By immersing yourself in these 25 essential triathlon terms and their corresponding definitions, you gain the language and proficiency to navigate the world of triathlon confidently. Armed with this knowledge, you can communicate effectively with the triathlon community. Oh, you've got a lot to learn still. Make informed decisions about your gear and training, and ultimately embark on your triathlon journey with a deeper understanding and appreciation for the sport. So whether you're a seasoned triathlete or a first-timer, dive into the Triathlon Lexicon, conquer the transitions, and race towards your goals with confidence, and an unwavering enthusiasm for the world of triathlon. And it's going to take a little bit of work too. It's not a one and you're done kind of thing. If this is a bucket list item for you, you can do it and be done with it. But apart from just all the moving parts and pieces that have to fit together, which is pretty insane a lot of times when you come to think about it, getting into this world, you find that the community is a much more enjoyable place than like the running community or the swimming community or the cycling community alone. Individually, they all have their greatness. I've been involved in all the different communities, been cycling for the better part of 55, 60 years, been running since I could walk, and I started running competitively in middle school. At that time it was called junior high. And swimming, I've been around pools and been a surfer since I can remember. I took care of Olympic-sized pools, worked with USA Triathlon or USA Swimming a couple of times, and got coached by some really good swimming instructors. I had some good friends who were swim coaches, and they actually, since it was the last of the competitive side of sports that I picked up, it took a lot more coaching to become proficient with it. Now I'm actually a pretty good swim coach. So I actually learned from some of the best, in my opinion. And it reflects in some of my times. Now, granted, with the injuries I've had for the next year or so, I'm not going to be as competitive as I'd like. But the one thing that I always tell people is stay with it. Just stick with it. You'll get better. You'll improve. I've got the other channel, Tales of the Track, which tells of disastrous race stories where people actually succeeded and finished their races. Maybe they didn't win. Maybe they did. But the big difference was they stuck with it. They stayed with it. And a lot of times, a lot of my friends have gone through a lot of these issues, and because they stuck with it, it made an immense difference in their ability to perform. Okay, hey, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, share this with others. Comment below if there's something that you'd like me to share, if there's an article or you've got a great story that you'd like me to cover for this or the other channel. Drop me a line at Coachbrianscorner@gmail.com, and we'll hopefully see you here later. Thanks.